Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a awesome build for The Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. It's up there in the GOAT conversation, in my opinion, because it is a phenomenal game. Even 10 plus years after, it is still so good. So this build is going to be using Sword, Sign, and Potions. But we're not going to be investing any points in Sign besides the 3 points in the Delusion if you want it for conversations, but that's optional. That's not necessary for this build. So let's get into it. So we're going to be talking about the gear, because without the right gear, you're not going to be able to make this build work well at all. So as you can see, the armor we're going to be using is the Grandmaster Ursine Armor. I'm sure a lot of y'all know about this armor because this game is about 10 years old and it's an amazing game. I'm sure y'all have played the game a bunch of times. I think it's actually 12 years old now. Yeah, thereabouts. 10 to 12 years old. So you don't need me to go into a detailed explanation for you, but I'll give you an overview. The reason we're using the Grandmaster Ursine Armor is because it gives us a lot of adrenal points, which is exactly what we need to make this build work. So every piece gives you adrenal points. Even the swords, right? So that is the primary focus of the build, because that is the key for all your abilities, your signs and your swords, because max adrenal points with the right ability gives you 300% sign intensity. And then you combine that with superior Petrie's filter, which gives you another 25%. You're looking at a combined sign intensity of 325%, which is going to make all your signs hit a lot harder, which is very good. And also the max adrenal gives you 30% extra damage with your sword attacks, which is also great. So you're looking at a lot of sword damage and a lot of sign intensity, which is great, which is exactly what we're going for in this build. And that's why we went with Ursine Armor, because it gives us the adrenaline the fastest. You can also use the sword, Aeronite, I don't know if I said that right, that you get from the Lady of the Lake and from a side quest in the DLC Blood and Wine. And by the way, you will need both DLCs, Hearthstone and Blood and Wine, to make this build work. But the only drawback with Aeronite is that you don't get the adrenal bonus that you get with the Ursine Silver Sword, which is 26% adrenal point gain. So that's up to you which one you want. Either way is good. Seriously, you get less adrenal, but you get way more damage, and also it has a permanent damage increase based on your level and the amount of people you kill, and it also charges up attacks. It's a pretty cool effect on top of it as well, and I like the quest a lot. The Lady of the Lake is quite iconic, especially she was in Witcher 1 and she had a pretty cool role in that game. So there's an emotional attachment to this as well. And also it's quite strong, and you can see it gives you plus 72 damage. So I'm trying both out right now. I like both. I don't know which one I like more. Right now I have this equipped for the sake of this video, but I've been using this a lot and it's been great. So again, the choice is up to you. I would recommend you try it out and see which one you prefer, because they're both very, very good for different reasons. Okay, so before we get into the skills, I just want to quickly go over the potions. It's not going to be very long, just because you're going to be using every single potion that is available. So I don't need to go over every potion because you're going to be using them all. And I'm sure you played this game a few times. But there is one very important thing that I have to say, though. When you start combat... Oh, wait, I'm wearing the wrong armor right now. All right. Ignore that you saw that. Ignore you saw that. You've forgotten that now. You're going to use that Men in Black device on you, all of y'all. Y'all have forgotten that now. As I was saying, there's one very important thing that I need to tell you about the potion used for this build. But this potion right here, Superior Maribor Forest, that is key. Make sure you have all these potions in your quick inventory, because I like to have them because I like to use them a lot. But you can put whatever potions you want, except White Honey, because that just cancels everything. But Superior Maribor Forest accelerates the generation of adrenal points, extended duration, grants 1 adrenal point upon consumption. Now we have a skill that is called Razor Focus that gives us 1 adrenal point at the start of combat. Then when you use Maribor Forest, you get another one. 2. Wonderful. You're already like 75% on the way of getting 3 points, right? But if you do it the reverse order, it doesn't work. Because if you do Maribor Forest, and then you get 1 point, and then you start combat, Razor Focus will not give you the second point. Because Razor Focus only ensures that you start combat with 1 point. It does not do anything more than that. So if you already have 1 point, the skill simply won't activate. So make sure you get Razor Focus, then Maribor Forest, not Maribor Forest, then Razor Focus. Alright, that's all I have to say. Let's get to the skills. Okay, so now we're going to go over the skill section of this build. But before we do that, I'm going to drink a Potion of Clearance. Returns all ability points spent to develop abilities to the available pool so you can redistribute them. I'm doing this so that I can show you what skills to take, rather than just telling me, take this, take that, take that. It's better to show you, I would say. So let's take. Boom. Took it. Now let's go. So the first thing you want to take is Strength Training. 3 in that. And then the next skill you should take Muscle Memory, in my opinion. Now you can take whichever one you want because the primary focus of this build is going to be Strength Training. That's the sword style you're going to be using. But in order to build for your next build, you might want to go Muscle Memory. Because if you're going to do New Game Plus, which I haven't done yet, I'm going to be doing it soon. And I want to do, for example, I want to do the Wolf School. And Wolf School is based on light strikes. So I would suggest going here. It gives you a bit more versatility. Also, if you get bored of just doing heavy strikes all the time and you want to change it up a little bit, you can go to light strikes. So it just gives you more versatility and also sets up your New Game Plus playthrough quite well. So after that, you go Crushing Blows. And now you're good. See, Strength Training gives you 30% strong attack damage, a little bit adrenal gain. Crushing Blows increases strong attack critical hit chance by 12% and strong attack critical hit damage by 75%. So when you're going to crit hard. So that'll be fun. Then you can go to here if you want. This is optional. Delusion. If you're going to do it, I just say take 2 points for now. Because for the majority of the game, you're only going to need 2 points of Delusion. Only very few instances, I think you need 3 points. Then you can go over here, or you can skip that and go over here. You're going to take Heightened Tolerance. Increases potion overdose threshold from 50 to 60. Well, actually, let's see what it is when it's maxed. For 50 to 80. So instead of overdosing, which means, your toxicity, you become toxic at 50%, you actually go to 80%. It has to be 80% of your toxicity before you get poisoned. I think that's what it is called, because when you go too high in your toxicity, you start losing health. So it has to get to 80% of your total toxicity for that to happen rather than 50%. So that's very, very good. I would say this is absolutely the first ability you should take, because now you can take potions without worrying about it too much. Then you want to take Acquire Tolerance. Every known level 1, 2, or 3 alchemy formula increases maximum toxicity by 0.5 points. And notice that every alchemy skill increases potion duration, time, and bomb damage by 15% at the max level, which is, again, very good. This is a skill that's going to scale really well. The more alchemical formulas you learn, the more maximum toxicity you have. So this is going to be even stronger later. Then you want to take Protective Coating. This is very important in the hardest difficulties because it adds 15% protection against attacks from the monster type the oil targets. So as long as you use your oils properly, you'll be able to take full advantage of this. A flat 15% protection is very, very strong in the higher difficulties. So I would absolutely suggest. I would absolutely suggest that. So let's put all these skills here. So then we'll go here. I like to split my skills up like this. And again, it's always good to have your skills in one area because the mutagens bonuses will be much stronger when they're connected to as many skills as possible. And mutagens can only fill this slot, so they'll only affect skills in this area. So yeah, do it like this. But you can, you can have the red over here, green over here, or you can have red, red, green, green, however you want to do it. But as long as they're on the same side, that's what matters. So before we move on, let's talk about mutagens. Yes. So red to red, green to green, blue to blue, I think is pretty obvious. You get attack power plus 30. You want to do here. Vitality plus 600. So nice solid bonuses, but it's going to get even better later. But before we get to that, we need to max out the combat tree. So I'm going to take Precise Blows. Then we're going to take here. We're going to go right here. Razor Focus. Instantly gain 1 adrenal point when entering combat. And at max level, you get the adrenal points generated by sword blows are increased by 30%. So very, very strong. And look, a little bit more attack power now and gives you a lot of power. So I would say max this instantly. It's very useful for this build because, as you know, Adrenal is our focus. So then you want to go Rend. Put that over here. And now you've opened up the last section of this tree. You want to go 1 in Flood of Anger, and then 1 in Sunder Armor if you have these 2 slots open. Because right now I'm at max level. So I don't remember if I did have both those slots open. Actually, I think I did. But again, if you don't have both these slots open, then max this first. If you do, then put 1 in each. And then I would suggest maxing Flood of Anger then. So now, when casting a sign, 3 Adrenal points, if available, will be consumed to upgrade the sign to the highest level, unlocking all bonuses, and increase sign intensity by 300%. Very, very powerful. This is when the build truly starts, I would say truly takes off. This is the takeoff point, right here, when you get max Flood of Anger. Then, you want to max Under Armor, and now you got all the sword skills you need for this build. All here. Now, we go right back to Alchemy. Now we're going to max Alchemy. We're going to be focusing a lot on the mutation tree, which is for your mutagens, mutagen potions. They're very, very strong abilities. So let's go Tissue Transmutation. At max level, when consumed, mutagen decoctions increases maximum vitality by 900 for decoction effective duration. Very good. And then, probably the most powerful ability in this tree, Synergy. At max level, increases bonuses for mutagens placed in a mutagen slot by 50%. Now, let me just put in the mutagens and then show you how much stronger they get. Okay, so let's see. Vitality 300, attack power 40, 40, vitality 600. Now watch out what happens when I put Synergy in here. Boom, 900, and now 60 and 60. Oh, and it went to 675. Amazing. So again, this is a big power boost. Now, after that, what you want to go for is fast metabolism. Toxicity drops 1 point per second faster because I like losing a lot of potions along with 1 mutagen potion, because you have to remember, a mutagen potion will take up a percentage of your toxicity. So right now, what is my toxicity? Let me check. It's 0. Now I'm going to take the decoction that you need to use. I'll get into why you need to use it later, but let's say I'm going to take it. Now, 27% of my toxicity is always going to be used up as long as this mutagen is active. So that means I have 27% less toxicity that I can use for my potions. So I need a way to reduce my toxicity fast, so that when I do use my potions, the toxicity comes back to 27% as fast as possible, so that I can use more potions, because each potion takes a bit of toxicity, but then the toxicity starts draining. With mutagen potions, the toxicity does not drain. It stays at 27%. So that's an important difference. This is why we will be taking this skill right here, fast metabolism, because you want that toxicity to drop as fast as possible so you can use all the potions you want. Otherwise, what will happen is toxicity drops too slowly. So you will only be able to use like maybe 2 potions, maybe 3, and that's it. And then you have to wait. And again, fights, waiting, that's not good, because the fight could be over before you could use your potion, or you could die because you didn't use the potion in the fight. Neither is good, right? So what you want is 3 points in fast metabolism. Toxicity drops 3 points per second faster. So now your toxicity drops incredibly fast, get a nice boost to your vitality to 900, and now we've got all the perks that we need before we get the Blood and Wine mutagen abilities. I think that's what they're called. So now this is good enough for the base game. Now we're going to get into Blood and Wine, Heart of Stone. I would recommend doing Heart of Stone and then Blood and Wine, because Blood and Wine is definitely the hardest. So what we now want to do is go side effects, right? Because now, if you notice, I have these 2 slots open. So let's go side effects. So at max level, imbibing a potion gives a 100% chance of activating the effects of another randomly selected potion without the additional toxicity cost. Woo! So now you get to use even more potions. And remember, look at the potion that you got when you activate this ability. So let's say, for example, let me use a potion right now. Let's say I take Superior Full Moon. It gives me 1,000 vitality and heals vitality by around equal to current toxicity. I take it, whoa! And look what I've got. I've got Blizzard. So you got to keep an eye on what potion you get so you don't accidentally, click that potion because you've already got it now, right? So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Then you want to take Adaptation. Extends effective duration of all mutagen decoctions by, let's see, how much at max level? 100%, from 33 to 100%. And you put that in here. And if you notice, again, remember, each ability gives you potion duration time and bomb damage, gives you an upgrade of 15% for each max leveled alchemy skill. So lots of it now. So now let's get into the mutant or mutagen skills that you get from a side quest in The Witcher, basically where you're able to unlock this whole new skill tree that allows you to augment your abilities, get extra points, extra slots. Very fun. So the way I would level this, and remember, each of these cost skill points and mutagens, like green, blue, red mutagens. So don't throw away those things. If you have an excess of them, keep them. I would say at least keep around 50 of those, of each of red, green, and blue, and what is this? Blue, yes, around. You can sell the rest for money, but keep a lot of them around because you're going to need them for this. So the way I would level it up is like this. I would take Toxic Blood and then Euphoria, which is very good because again, you're going to have a lot of hot, because you're not going to use this really, because you're not going to be injured in melee combat if you're dodging properly. So by the time you get to Blood and Wine, your dodging should be good enough where Toxic Blood isn't really that useful. But Euphoria, each point of toxicity increases damage dealt by swords and sign intensity by 0.75% to a maximum of 137.625%. But again, this is something we're not going to keep for too long because Metamorphosis is our ultimate goal. But if you want to be like hyper efficient with it, you can always take this one out. Fast Metabolism, because that drops the toxicity quite fast. And if you want to keep your toxicity high, you should take that out because otherwise this will drain it fast. If that's how you want to do it. Personally, I didn't stick with this too long, but when I did stick with it, that's what I did. Next, you want to go Deadly Counter. And then Bloodbath is very nice as well. Each fatal blow dealt by a sword dismembers the enemy or activates a finisher. Each blow dealt by a weapon in melee combat increases attack power by 5% until combat ends to a maximum of 250%. The bonus is lost if you take damage, not including damage from toxicity. Okay, but the problem is because we're going to be putting green skills in those slots, red is not going to be useful. Just pure red, nah. But I've tried Bloodbath out. It's quite fun. So if you're going to look for a pure combat build, this is a very good mutagen. Then we go Cat Eyes, which again, we don't use crossbows, so not very useful. And then we get to the king of all these mutagens, Metamorphosis. Applying critical effects to opponents activates a random decoction for 120 seconds with no toxicity cost. Maximum number of decoctions that can be activated simultaneously by the mutation is 5, which senses can help you see better in dark places. The reason this works so well with this build is because, as you know, with Flood of Anger, which one? Yeah, this skill right here, we unlock all the bonuses of the signs and very high sign intensity, which means it guarantees we're going to inflict a critical effect on an opponent. So we're going to be getting decoction bonuses all over the place with all the signs. So that's what I'm saying. Metamorphosis works very, very well with this build. So use that, and with Metamorphosis, you can put Alchemy, Sign, or Combat skills in any of these slots. So the last thing we have to go over before this video is over is the decoction that you want to use. You're only going to be using one decoction because otherwise it takes up too much of your toxicity, and then you won't be able to use as many potions as you want, because in this build, as I've said before, we're going to be using all the potions. So this is going to be the decoction. Algul decoction, which you get by killing an Algul and getting a few other ingredients. It's not that difficult to get. It's 50% toxic, 50 out of 180 for toxicity, 1,800 seconds effect duration, and here's the important part, 50% adrenal point gain. So you get an additional 50% adrenal point gain. You get it faster, 50% faster, but there is a catch here. Adrenal points are generated more quickly than normal until the first successful enemy attack. So this is why dodging is a very important part of this build. Because if you don't dodge well, you can't take full advantage of the Algul decoction. So remember, use that Quen shield as much as you can. And then when you get your full Grandmaster Ursine set, you can use Quen as an offensive weapon as well, because of the bonuses. But this makes Quen the most important sign for this build. because you want to avoid getting hit at all costs. Now with this decoction, you will be great. Like, let's see, I'll show you. See, takes about 27% of your total toxicity. You have more than enough toxicity to use as many potions as you want. So this is where your build to me becomes very powerful. It has reached completion. So this is how you do it, everybody. It's very fun. I hope you all try it out, and if you do try it out, leave me some feedback in the comment section below, how much you liked it, what things I could improve on, what things you improved on this build. Maybe you noticed some things that I didn't, took some skills that I didn't do, or maybe you didn't take some skills that I did take because they were a waste. Whatever, just leave feedback in the comment section below. I'm always looking to get better at these builds. But yeah, this is how I built it. It's very, very fun. Now, there's about 3 points here, so I'm going to start, like I said, I'm going to start putting it in Whirl and put it in Crippling Strikes. Yeah, I like that. Strikes, I mean. I'm not going to be using the skills this build because I've just built the Grandmaster Wolf build, so I might try them out now, because I think that'll be my next Witcher build, will be the Wolf School build. But yeah, that's for next time. That's for a while away now. Alright everybody, now I'm going to leave you all with some gameplay so you can see how the build really works in practice, and you can see what I do, and you can try it out yourself. Alright everybody, see you all on the next one.
How long you gonna make me wait? Hucker up! Quick! Quicker! Take him alive! Sorcery! Shivering gallbladders and the kettle of God. You saved my life. I shall never forget it. Mired in a dark legend. Dream hideout for bandits.
Beautiful death, even more so.
That's enough of that.